I don't know what got into me this year, but I ended up planting a ton of parsley. Let me show you how I harvested it, I dried it, and it ended up saving one of my Christmas potlucks. Hi you guys, I'm Sonia with Suburban Gardening. I normally wouldn't grow a whole bunch of parsley because I particularly don't like it. But after growing it in my garden, harvesting it, drying it, and leaving it on the counter for fresh herbs, I actually really like it now. Let me show you what I've discovered. I'm out here by my raised beds because this is where I grow all my parsley. It's looking absolutely beautiful, and we've been harvesting it for a couple of months. But I wanted to show you how I harvest it, and we're going to take it inside and we're going to process it so we can dry it and have it for different applications. But I wanted to show you one thing before I get started, was that I use my gloves a lot in the garden and they get pretty messed up. Sometimes they even get really wet, so I have to leave them outside. But I use these chip clips to keep them closed, and that way spiders don't get inside my garden gloves, because I have been bitten a few times with spiders hiding in my gloves. So I just wanted to share that little tip that I have with you. The other thing was that a couple of weeks ago I got invited to a wonderful Christmas party. Very excited to go, and I didn't realize until the night before that it was a potluck. I had absolutely nothing to bring. So I scrambled and just got in my refrigerator. I pulled out some cream cheese, cheddar cheese, and I had some ham left over from a party. I smushed it all together and made it into a cheese ball, but I had some dried parsley on hand. So I rolled the cheese ball in the dried parsley. I chopped up some dried cranberries and put it on there. It ended up looking like a Christmas ornament. I served it with crackers and they went wild over it. Parsley saved the day on that one for sure. So I just wanted to show you that all I use for this application is I just use my regular garden clippers, and it's a really easy thing. You just want to pull it back and then you're going to snip away. I have my basket here that I've already been harvesting some of the parsley, so we're just going to keep accumulating it and then we're going to take it inside. Now I did want to show you one thing about how this parsley just grows back. As you can see, I have harvested some of this parsley about 2 weeks ago, and it's already growing back all of these brand new leaves and stems. So it's just going to continue to grow and grow back into another huge plant that I can come out here and harvest and process. It's a pretty easy application, and you don't have to be careful about it. You could just come in here and get your parsley out. I'm going to leave a little behind because I know we're going to be making soups and things, and I like to come out here and harvest my fresh parsley. So let's go inside and see how we process. I've brought our beautiful freshly harvested parsley into the house. I gave it a vigorous wash in the sink. I patted it dry, and now it's time to process it. So what I need to do now is I need to pick all of these leaves off of the stems. So that's going to take me a few minutes, but I'll be right back. I went ahead and I picked off a bunch of leaves off of the stems because I want to show you this next application. The way that I dry my parsley is that I put it in my dehumidifier. Now there's other ways to do it, and I'm going to get to that. So if you don't have a dehumidifier, no trouble, no worries at all. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to arrange the parsley on my dehumidifier tray. Now parsley is very fluffy, so if you put quite a bit on there, that's okay, because all the air is going to get through there and it's going to dry it really well. Now once I get all of my trays full, then I will place it on the dehumidifier and I will leave it on there for 12 hours. So check your dehumidifier if you have one and see what the timing would be for yours. This is what the parsley looks like when it's dried. Do you see how much it's reduced? I mean, it's practically nothing there compared to what I put on there. But now I know that I can put this in a wonderful jar, put a label on it, and it will last me for years to come. This is some parsley that I picked about 3 weeks ago. I put it all in this bowl, and every time I walk by it, I turn it. And then that way it fluffs it up and the air can circulate around it. So it took about a week and a half for it to get really dry, but this is a total different option than doing it in a dehumidifier. Another way you can do it is put it out on a cookie sheet and leave it out sitting on the counter. It's January right now and we've got the heater on in the house. So with the heater on, you just walk by and move it around a little bit, sort of turn it, and a cookie sheet would work really well. I've heard people put it in the oven at about 200 degrees, and I guess you could try that, but personally, I think that it takes a little bit of the flavor out of the parsley, but that's certainly another option, and it's quicker. Basically, the only thing I do in this application is I just trim the stems so they'll fit down in my vase, and that way I can have them on the counter. It makes a beautiful little plant sitting on your counter, and right now, because it's cold, it's really neat to have some greens inside. I've picked all of the leaves off of these stems, but hold on to these stems because I did a video on how to compost in a suburban garden, and we can put these back down in the soil and they're great food for your plants. Now that we've dried and preserved our wonderful fresh parsley out of our garden, how are we going to use it? Well, we know that we can use it in recipes like soup and other things. We know that we can roll a cheese ball in it and make a beautiful holiday cheese ball. But how about making some parsley tea? Now, I keep my parsley in these jars so they stay nice and fresh. But what I like to show you is how I make the parsley tea. Now, I always keep on hand these wonderful little paper bags because I do different herbs in my garden, and these are great for making parsley tea. Now, I do buy these online, and I'll put the link below so you guys can get a hold of some. The ratio for making parsley tea is 2 tablespoons of dry parsley or 1/4 cup of fresh parsley. So all I need to do here is just put 2 tablespoons of this wonderful dry parsley that we just made in these handy little tea bags and drop it in the water. Now I already have a cup of boiling water that I just got out of my kettle, so we're going to put it in here. I am going to add honey and I'm going to add some lemon to this. It's going to make a wonderful, refreshing drink for me. Let me just read to you some of the health benefits of parsley. Now, I looked this up online. It says that it's an excellent source of antioxidants. It's good for the urinary tract, and it's an excellent source of vitamin C. Perhaps this is something that you would like to add to your regimen as well. We have done a lot with our fresh parsley out of our garden. We've trimmed it and we put it in a vase so we can leave it on our counter. It not only makes a beautiful little bouquet in our kitchen, but we can come by and take our fresh parsley whenever we need it for a recipe or whatever we need it for. We dried it in our dehumidifier. We also learned that we don't need a dehumidifier. We can leave it in a bowl and turn it, or we can put it on a cookie sheet and just mess it up a little bit every now and then. About a week and a half later, it'll be perfectly dry and ready to preserve. I like to put my parsley in these wonderful jars. That way it stays nice and fresh in my cupboard. I can have it for months and months to come. And we also made fresh parsley tea. Who would have ever thought? I put honey and lemon in mine. Oh, makes it so much more delicious. As you guys saw, I grow the parsley in my raised bed, but I'm very limited in that raised bed. So I think I might start growing the parsley out of my flower beds because it just looks so beautiful and it absolutely has no pests. I hope this changed your mind about growing parsley in your garden. It looks beautiful even in your raised beds or actually out in your flower beds, and it's great to have on hand. You'll love cooking with it and you'll just love having it on the counter. So thanks for stopping by, you guys. I'll see you next time. So basically the only thing that I do is I snip the leaves. Basically, the only thing I do in this application is I just trim the leaves.